Alright, I was kind of hesitant about making this video, but I figured I'd do it anyways. For my audience, it probably gets tedious and redundant hearing me talk about the Olympic lifts all the time. And especially if you've got my Haas Olympic ebook, the updated version, you know pretty much everything I think about them. But I came across this Instagram post by Waxman, who I'd highly recommend you go follow. He puts out really solid clips of his athletes just training, and he just has a lot of really good takes. But anyways, he says in this Instagram post, some coaches don't use Olympic lifts whom I respect tremendously and share first principles regarding strength and conditioning. But I continue to be disappointed with some of them. Not because they don't use Olympic lifts, I'm disappointed because they are disingenuous about why you shouldn't use the Olympic lifts. In my experience, the most prominent opponents of the Olympic lifts are coaches who have never had any real exposure to them. And this is generally true, but it's nearly an absolute truth. Most opponents of the Olympic lifts have not truly spent the time to train them to their fullest extent. Only the other major barbell exercises such as squats, deads, and presses can be trained and progressed long-term more than the Olympic lifts can. Trap bar jumps and exercises alike cannot. And I'm regularly sent this Twitter post by Schmarzo. He says, "What can an Olympic lift do for the lower body that a trap bar can't do?" I'm team trap bar because I can't see a good argument for the Olympic lifts in this case. And Schmarzo is already ideologically committed to this position, so it's not like I'm going to change his mind. Part of his entire brand and identity is being anti-Olympic lifting. And many people have sent me this Instagram post by Coach Q Physio. He's actually made several posts about so-called better alternatives for the Olympic lifts. Just go through his page and you'll find all of them. He frequently mentions that trap bar jump shrugs offer the same benefits of the Olympic lifts, which they don't, but most of the time the arguments will start out that way. They'll say, insert whatever Olympic lifting alternative promotes the same adaptations. When pushed, they'll double down even more and say, actually, these alternatives are better than the Olympic lifts. And obviously, I make a lot of Instagram posts and YouTube videos about Olympic lifting. I wrote an entire ebook on the value of Olympic lifts. Obviously, I have a bias towards my position, but that's because my position is correct. And so I'm frequently met with questions in my DMs responding to my various Instagram posts asking, what are you not getting from a trap bar jump shrug that you are getting from a clean? So I'll just lay it out right here. This is what you're not getting. You're not interacting with an external body of mass. This is the foundational difference. This is the first domino to fall in my argument. The load in a trap bar jump shrug is basically just an extension of your own body mass. You're not interacting with it as if it's an external body of mass. So from there, regarding trap bar jump shrugs, you're not creating propulsion on an external body of mass. You don't have to yield the force or yield the collision from an external body of mass. You don't have to rapidly flex your hips, knees, and ankles to gain advantageous leverage against an external body of mass. You don't experience multiple impulse spikes. A trap bar jump shrug is just one gradual acceleration until toe off of the jump. You aren't required to get into end ranges of motion at the shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles, and wrists under load. And what's weird is that this is actually often used as a point to refute the value of a clean. Opponents of the clean often say that you shouldn't expect an athlete to have to deal with the discomfort of the front rack to the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. This is ridiculous. You're doing the athlete a disservice if you're neglecting these various mobility demands, knowing full well that they're going to get exposed to them while playing sports. And lastly, you're not getting the same sense of urgency to complete a task. If you have a tendo unit or a jump mat, you could maybe make the case that you are, but adding the component of actually having to get back underneath the load like you do in a clean adds another level to it. So that's my response to what are you not getting from a trap bar jump shrug that you are getting in a clean. If you have any or you see any arguments opposing the use of Olympic lifts in training that aren't based in circumstance, send them to me. Maybe I'll make a video responding to it. But that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.